videos. All right, cool. Let's chat open. All right, looks like we're good. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm just getting this started right now. So if you guys have any questions or if you guys are new here, depending if you guys are on the Zoom or if you guys are on YouTube, feel free to put any question you guys have in the chat or in the Q&A. And then once we get started, I can go over any questions you guys have or go over any strategies or, pretty much any trading questions you guys have. I can go ahead and answer all those questions. But I'm gonna give it a few more minutes for people to join in. Looks like there's still a lot of people that are trying to get on right now, but as soon as we have the full house, we'll get started and ready to go. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm probably going to start, guys, with going over each pair. I'm just going to analyze each pair to see, where the zones are and if there are any possible entries. Other than that, we'll probably go over the US 30 entries from this week, since a lot of people want to know how did we identify those trades and why we took those trades. And I'll show you guys those step by step as well, using the daily K2 US 30 strategy. But other than that, let's give it some more, few more minutes, and then we'll probably get started shortly. Oh man, look who's here. Special guest, AB Trades. Oh man. AB Trades in the house. Are you at AB Trades? All right, cool guys. So it looks like we have a pretty good amount of people here now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start going through pretty much all the Forex pairs. If you guys have any specific questions and you guys want me to analyze any specific pair, feel free to put it in the chat or in the Q&A, and I can go ahead and take a look. Hey Brian, how's it going? Looks like Brian's here too. Looks like we got quite a few people in both the YouTube and the Zoom. I think I'm going to start doing it on YouTube so it's a lot easier for people to access. I know some people have issues logging on to the Zoom. So now we're just going to start doing it on YouTube. It's pretty much the same thing since we're doing a webinar anyways. But yeah, so if you guys have questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A or in the YouTube chat. Aaron said I'm watching on YouTube. Oh man, here comes the Wade. The Wade with this indices, man. We gotta learn how to do indices from Wade. All right, cool. So let's get started, guys. I'll start from the top, and then if I see any questions, I'll take a break, and then I'll start looking at, any pairs you guys want me to take a look at. Let's see. So we'll start with Odd Cat over here. I'm just gonna see if all of the zones line up. And if you guys are familiar with the K2SR indicator, pretty much it's just this indicator that lines up all of the near zones. So you can see right here, there's the zones, but I've already lined them up on Sunday when we had our weekly analysis. So pretty much everything looks good there. It doesn't look like there's really anything worth taking right now since it's rejecting off this this zone right here. So pretty much if this goes above this zone over here, then we can probably take a buy entry. But until then, we're probably going to hold tight because we don't want to take any unnecessary risk. Because if price ends up closing below this zone right here, then what could happen is it could probably come down and test this zone before shooting back up to correction. And on top of that, if you guys want to see what the overall trend is, or just for the specific time frame, we turn on the K2 pivots. Obviously, you can see right here, price is above the pivots. The pivots are all angling upwards and they're spread out. So since that's given that confirmation of an uptrend right there, that's why we have a buy bias. And that's why I'm waiting for price to close above this zone so we can take a buy position from there. So that's it for AuDCAD. Looks like there's nothing there. So we'll probably not, well, I don't know. We'll see how much it moves, but I don't think it's going to move this much within the next couple hours, 25 pips, because the next 4-hour candle closes in about less than 2 hours. So we'll just keep an eye on that for later, but we'll keep looking. All right, cool. So let's see. We got odd CHF right here. Same situation. It's in an uptrend. It looks like the Australian dollar is pretty strong right now. So let me just turn off the pivots. Same situation right here. This would have been a good buy, or I mean, it could still be a good late buy right here because this would qualify as a pivot entry. It would qualify for both a pivot entry and for a K2SR zone strategy entry as well. Since price came down below the zone, it broke above, we got a buy momentum right there. Technically, I still anticipate this to shoot on further. So this might be a good later call. I'll have to see what news is looking like because I don't know if there's news today. Let's see if there's news. Let's see, Forex Factory. All right, so looking at Forex Factory right here, it looks like there's news at 11 p.m., which is GBP. So I think we should be fine from now until then. That's a long time. It's about 6 hours from now. So technically, this could shoot up. So I might even take a late entry right here for a buy stop. I'll just keep that marked, and then maybe I'll call it in a few hours. I'll see how everything else is moving. Just want to make sure that there is correlation between all of the odd pairs. So it looks like odd JPY is coming down, but let's look at the overall trend. Looks like it's coming down. So it doesn't look like the Australian dollar is strong across the board, but it's strong for the odd CAD and odd CHF. For odd JPY, I mean, this would have been a good sell right here. We didn't take it, but it would have been a good sell. If we took this entry right here, it looks like it'd be an entry for a zone strategy. So basically once price pulled up over here and closed into the zone, as it closed below right here, once we got a sell signal, that would provide for a good sell entry. But it looks like it's a little too late. I think we might have called this last week for the other JPY pairs. I know we have one for EJ right now. So that's our EJ. It's still in profit. It's making its way down to TP2. It already hit TP1 earlier, which we posted in the group. Let's see. Yeah, so it looks like we hit that TP1 a while back. So right here, that's when we hit TP1 for 12 pips. It was a small little gain just for, just to cover our position. But it looks like it's dropping back down to TP2 down here for 25 pips. So we'll come back and look at that later. I was just correlating that with odd JPY. So this looks good here. Odd NZD. Let's see what the overall trend is for odd NZD over here. It's in an overall trend downwards because price is below the pivots. The pivots are angling down and they're kind of spreading out right there. So it looks like it could be charging out for a drop, but we'll see how that goes. Odd NZD is a little bit of a weird pair because they're both similar currencies. So let's see. So yeah, if I was to take a sell here, probably be a late entry down here. which looks good. It looks like that could play out. So I'm just going to have that marked as well in case I want to call that. I'm not going to call it just yet because we just entered the Aussie session. So for odd USD, this is going upwards. It's same situation with odd CHF over here. So you can see it looks kind of pretty similar. So just looking at odd CHF, let me just take off clean it up right there. So looking at the zones right here, it looks like it's in consolidation, then it's shooting back up. Similar with odd USD over here as well. So it looks like for odd USD, it looks like it came down, it rejected off this zone, and then it looks like it's on its way back up. So if I turn on the momentum indicator, looks like there would be a late entry somewhere around here. But we'll have to wait and see how that ends up playing out. A lot of these Aussie pairs look like they're going to come up, but they also look very risky. So we're just going to mark that for later. I'm just going to go down every pair, and then I'm going to go back and analyze to see if they're worth taking or not. But we do have a buy momentum right here, so I do anticipate this to possibly shoot up to the next zone right here, and then it'll establish probably a double top. So once it gets near this point, we'd probably move our stop loss and profit just in case it reverses on us. So looking at CAD CHF over here, it's too stuck within zones right here, so we're going to ignore this pair. Same right here with CAD JPY. So looking at CAD JPY and correlating it with odd JPY, see they're all bearish. So they're all coming down. Odd JPY is coming down. CAD JPY is coming down. CHF JPY is coming down. It looks like the JPY is pretty strong across the board. So that might be a good entry for a sell. We still have this GJ from last week. So if you guys still have this active, you know, it barely went into retracement over here and then it came straight down. So this is probably going to hit full TP. Let's look at NJ. Same situation. Looks like all of the JPY pairs would be a good sell. Let me see where the zones are here. I think this is too close to this point. Yeah, it took about exactly 20 pips. So I probably wouldn't be taking that one. And it's stuck within a zone here. You can see this, the zone within the zone right here. But you can see, you know, everything's pretty nicely lined up since I marked everything up last Sunday. So if I hide everything off the chart, you can see all those zones on the chart. But you can see here, I drew my own zones over it, making it look a lot nicer and easier to analyze. So let me just go back to CAD JPY. I think this was what I was looking at. We did get a sell signal, but only problem is that it's right at that zone. So this is an issue right here. This is something I wouldn't want to enter because the problem with this is that since it's at this lower zone, it's probably going to reject off it. So I'm going to hold off on that now, even though it looks like a good trade. There's too many risks involved with this specific trade to really take it right now. So let's see what else we got. CHF JPY. Yeah, this is too close to the next zone as well. Let me see if there's anything else around here. Yeah, same situation. So price is probably going to come down to this zone. Oh, what happened there? Yeah, price is probably going to come down to this zone right here, and then it's probably going to shoot up. Or it might break through it and come straight down. It depends on how strong the JPY is. You know, against these other pairs, since it's pretty strong across the board. So I'm going to hold off on that. It's just too risky, especially with FOMC tomorrow. It's just, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. It's not some time where we should be taking unnecessary risks. It looks like this actually respected the zone pretty nicely because we had this marked up from last week, actually, on the 7th when it rejected off this point and it came down and reject off it for a double bottom. But that doesn't mean it's going to come all the way up. You know, what could happen here is it could probably come up to this point, reject off here, and then either break through it finally or reject back upwards for like a triple bottom. But there is heavy GBP news tomorrow. So tomorrow and Thursday are probably going to be, I don't even know if we're going to trade on those days because the news on those days are crazy. So let's see, tomorrow morning, there's news at 5:30. So we're not going to take, it's like from 5:30 to 7:30 to 11:30. There's no point in trading during US session tomorrow because there's so much news. You know, this is a ton of uncertainty. We're not sure, you know, what this could lead to, you know, what will cause spikes in price, because generally when the FOMC speaks, the Fed, you know, the market starts to act pretty crazy. So tomorrow, it looks like we're not going to trade all day tomorrow, actually, because there's news all during US session, and then there's news during all Asia session. And then, I mean, I don't know, we might take some trades at night, but you can see that we have tentative JPY news as well, and they're high impact. So this is super risky. I don't think we're going to trade it all tomorrow. And it doesn't look like we're going to trade very much Thursday morning either. You can see here at 4 a.m., there's a ton of GBP news. Like, this will screw up the market so bad, or, you know, it'll cause a lot of manipulation in the market. So last thing you want to do is be in a trade when the market's being manipulated to the news. Following that, 5:30 a.m., there is USD and CAD news. It's non-farm for CAD, and then unemployment claims for USD. This could be a toss-up, actually, because since COVID is, you know, it's kind of wearing off a little bit. You know, a lot of jobs are coming back, not a lot of them, but more than there was last month for sure. So this is going to be risky. So, you know, we'll probably hold off on these probably all day tomorrow, and then probably morning into afternoon Thursday. And then hopefully this doesn't really affect the market too much. But yeah, it looks like Thursday afternoon is probably going to be our last trading day, but it looks like we're just going to avoid all day tomorrow for the most part. Aside from nighttime, maybe at night there'll be something for us to enter, but you know, it's just way too risky. So let's go back to the charts. We left off on EA over here. Nothing there. Let's see, your CAD right here. Let's see what we got over here. Nothing here. It's this would have been an entry, which I didn't call, thankfully. I don't know what happened here. It looks like it came up and then it just dropped straight down. I think there was news yesterday that caused price to move like pretty crazy. So thankfully I didn't take that trade. Euro CHF over here, just like I mentioned for, you know, a lot of the other pairs, once it's within these zones, it's kind of hard to take a trade because it could literally just bounce between these zones back and forth. It could probably come up there and then come back down. It could come down here and then come back to the middle. You know, so in this situation, I would always be waiting for price to break above the zones or outside the zones below. That way I can take a buy in this direction. I could pretty much, you know, catch whatever pips through here. Same situation down here, catch whatever pips that would be available down to the bottom side. So doesn't look like there's anything for EC. I'll go to EG right here. I think, who was asking about EG in the chat? So it looks like, let's see what John said. John said, can you trade using your dashboard? Yeah. Forex.com account and trade directly on there. John's asking if I could trade on my dashboard, and he's talking about my car, my Tesla.
Right, here we are back at the K² spaceship.
Let's mute that. So like basically on my car, you know, I can open TradingView up on the web browser. So John's asking if I can trade on there. So pretty much if I tap on the screen, I can, you know, enter Forex trades on there. Obviously I can't enter MT4 trades because, or I guess I could if I went on the MT4 website, but I could trade directly on here for Forex, since my Forex.com account is attached to my TradingView. So that's pretty cool. Let me see who was asking about EG earlier. Let's see, EG. Oh, it's Jerry. Okay, so Jerry was asking about EG. I was telling him that it's a bit tricky because last week we had bad, there's the Brexit news like pretty much hurt GBP a lot. So that's why it shot up so much. So it looks like it's, you know, correcting back downwards, but it's reaching this zone right here. So once he reaches this zone, the thing is there's a lot of heavy GBP news tomorrow. So this could like literally reject off there, or it could come back down to correct this huge movement from last week. Let's see Poulad's here. Yo, this is Poulad, and I'm fine with not trading this week, but I'll stay with US 30. Yeah, no, I'm the same way, Poulad. Like, honestly, US 30 is a toss-up. It's gonna go one way or the other. So it's like a 50% chance, you know, regardless as to whether there's news or not. So tomorrow I might just take US 30, but you know, for Forex it's a little different because there's a lot of different factors that come and affect the market. So here with GBP, we did get the sell signal right here, but it's only a few pips from, you know, the zone right here, 16 pips. So this would be an issue because if you take a sell here, you're gonna have to get out before, you know, it bounces, or it might go in your direction, correct, and, you know, continue pushing down. But personally, I think it's just too risky of a move. So me personally, I'd probably just leave it alone. All right, cool. We got a question from Angel. So Angel said, can you look at UCAD, GU, NU, and EJ? Cool. So yeah, I'll just remember we left off at EG, and then we'll go down to EJ right here. So EJ is a trade that we have active right now, Angel. And we were just looking at this earlier and comparing it to the other JPY pair. So the JPY is pretty strong across the board. If you look at odd JPY, it's coming down pretty nice. CAD JPY, it's coming down. CHF JPY, it's coming down. EJ, it's coming down. So it's a very nice correlation right there across the board for the JPY pairs. So I think our EJ position is actually doing really, really well, because since there's confirmation from all of the other JPY pairs that the JPY is strong across the board, it looks like it's going to have that push down to, you know, reach our TP2 right here. It looks like it might have reached it right here, but it maybe missed it by like a micro pip. But it does look good. We're still in the sell. So I do anticipate it to hit TP2 probably within the next 30 minutes or so. And then hopefully it can push down all the way to full TP down here before it, you know, probably rejects off, kind of like what it did right here. It literally came down, kissed the full TP, and then shot back up. I think this is something we took last week as well. So EJ looks really good. Let's look at your next pair. I'm gonna try to go down them in order so I could, next one is GU. So I had this one marked up because what I was doing, yeah, generally if I have these with an orange flag, that's just me indicating that this is something that I want to look at on the next candle close, because I see a trade setting up for that specific pair. So for GU, I have this flag marked up right here because I was waiting for a sell signal, because if we turn on the pivots, price is trending down super heavy. And this is only because the GBP is super weak from last week. But like I mentioned earlier, there's like really no guarantee that it could, you know, continue down or if it'll correct. So I was waiting for a sell signal. So once I get a sell signal, then it would provide a confirmation of a trend continuation downwards. You can see right here, it's establishing, you know, lower highs and lower lows. So this is the high, this is the lower low, the lower high, lower low, lower high, and it literally just keeps pushing down. It's just the wave heading on downwards, which is exactly how I see this moving right here. But it just, you know, we won't really know because there's a lot of, tomorrow there's both US and GBP news. So this could literally go, you know, one of two directions. It could literally go really strong down or really strong up, or it might even just consolidate, because since there's news for both GBP and USD, you know, it could literally just go sideways. But we'll have to see how that plays out. Otherwise, GU is just, I think it's like just going sideways for now until, you know, something happens. We do have GBP news at 11 tonight. So that's in about 6 hours from now, or 5.5 hours. So once that news happens, you know, if it's good or bad, that will probably push price into correction upwards or trend continuation downwards. So we'd probably have to wait for that, or we'd wait for a sell signal, because if we got a sell signal like we did right here, you know, we could literally ride that thing down. And, you know, that's for the most part what I'd be waiting for, since I want that catalyst giving me the confirmation that it's okay to enter. So, all right, GU, that's GU. Let's go to next one is NU. So this is our NU from yesterday. I know a lot of people closed out at TP1 right here. It was getting close to TP2, but then it kind of stopped. So let me look for the USD pairs across the board. I just want to see the correlation to see if, so it looks like the US dollar is kind of in strength right now currently. So AU is coming down. That means that the US dollar is in strength. So quick lesson right here. So basically, for the new people here, if price is going up, that means that the first currency is stronger or heavier than the second currency. If price is going down, that confirms that the second currency is stronger than the first currency currently. So right now you can see that, well, the US dollar has just been weak, like literally all year. So just looking at, looking at AU right here, you can see it's literally been weak as hell, like since March. And that's across the board. But currently, because the FOMC is going on tomorrow, you know, generally Powell's going to say something good. He's going to say something that's going to, you know, bring morale to the U.S., especially with, you know, election season and all that. So obviously that's why the U.S. dollar is kind of in strength currently. But I think what's going to happen, you know, after all of that, after the news tomorrow or maybe even Thursday, the U.S. dollar is still weak because the Fed just keeps printing money. And as they keep printing money, you know, it's just basic fundamentals. You know, it's gonna cause the U.S. dollar to be weaker and weaker. So, you know, until coronavirus is over with and, you know, the U.S. is back to normal and business is back to how it used to be, then it's probably just going to keep getting weaker and weaker. So although we see like a slight drop down right here, I think eventually it's going to keep pushing up. So looking at AU and comparing it to, so the US dollar is kind of strong right now. EU, same situation. It's a little strong temporarily, but, you know, just comparing this to AU, same situation. The US dollar has been weak since March. Like, I don't know how the dollar got strong over here. This is so weird. This is when COVID was like really bad. Like, you'd expect it to go the opposite, but it did the complete opposite. So right here, the US dollar has been weak since March, and it's literally just, you know, it's slowly inching up. Like, obviously it's due for some correction, but I think it's going to continue, you know, being weak until, like I mentioned earlier, the COVID and businesses reopen. Because as long as the Fed keeps printing money, the US dollar is just going to keep getting weaker and weaker. Same with GU right here. It was, you know, slight drop from September 1st until 13th. This was because a lot of people are speculating that there was going to be some sort of correction for the US dollar, because, you know, just like with AU and EU, it's been weak since May or March. So same situation here. I think this is a temporary drop, but it could swing up. Like, this might drop to the next support zone before it shoots back up. But, you know, I don't see it dropping for too long, unless like the pound like fails completely. You know, if the pound news is really bad tomorrow, then yeah, you know, obviously, price can continue dropping for GU. But overall, the US dollar is still weak. It's just, you know, temporarily in strength right now. So we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. But yeah, going back to NU right here, same situation. You know, I think this is a temporary pullback right here. I think once it reaches this zone, possibly, it'll probably correct back upwards. But like I mentioned, tomorrow's FOMC. So when the Fed speaks, it's going to be a toss-up. We're not really going to know how that's going to affect the market, or how is this going to move. Let's see. Dion said, didn't AU officially go into recession the last couple of weeks? I think so. Yeah, they sent like some type of announcement. But the thing is that the US dollar is still weak overall too, so they kind of cancel each other out. I mean, because we're both in recession. It's just the US doesn't really make it obvious. But, you know, just looking at the world in general, the US has technically been in recession since COVID happened, or, you know, once people started getting laid off. But yeah, I don't really see any other news here that affects it. Yeah, just, I mean, looking overall, that's probably why this dropped, Dion. So I was looking at AU. So like right here on the 1st, that was about 2 weeks ago, right? So yeah, a couple weeks ago, I think that's when they announced the recession. That's when it came down heavily, and then it corrected back upwards because US dollar is still weak overall as well. So I don't know who's like what's weaker than what, but yeah, that both of the currencies suck. I mean, currencies worldwide suck, but and that's due to COVID, you know. But I think overall, definitely, you know, Australian dollar is probably gonna be a little bit stronger than the US dollar as they're moving through their rebuilding phase. Because if we start getting the new stimulus for the US dollar, I mean, from the Fed, US dollar is just gonna get weaker because we just keep printing more and more money. But let's look at the other ones. So we're looking at NU. We'll look at UCAD. So UCAD is going up. That's, you know, temporary push up like the other USD pairs. And similar with, actually, this is the opposite. So it looks like CHF is actually, well, no, it's like temporarily pushing up, but it's pretty close to the zone, so it'll probably push back down. We'll just have to wait and see how news plays out. It's going down, so this means, yeah, so just looking at the, like across the board, it looks like the US dollar is still weak heavily. So looking at NU over here, Angel, I think we just have to give it some time. I think once it comes down, it'll probably reject off this zone and then correct back upwards. We'll have to see what the Fed says tomorrow. Let's see, Camo Lyric said, here for US 30. Yeah, I think everyone else is too, bro. So we'll take a look at that in a little bit too. Wayne said no Zoom link. Yeah, Wayne, well, you could just type in here, you know, you'd be doing the same thing here as you would be doing on the Zoom. The Zoom is available if you check your email. So if you sign up and register for the webinar, every time I go live on Zoom, it sends you the link. But this is the same thing. I mean, you were going to type the same questions on Zoom as you would on YouTube as well. So you can just type your questions in here, Wayne, if you have anything specific you want me to look at. It doesn't really make a difference if you're on the Zoom or the YouTube, because it's pretty much the same thing. When you put questions in the chat, I'll look at those questions, and then if I see questions in the Zoom, I'll answer those questions as well. So let's see, I'm going to keep looking over. I think Angel had one more question, yeah, for UCAD. So last question from Angel is UCAD. So let's take a look at that real quick. All right, cool. So looking at UCAD right here. So the thing with UCAD is that it's inside this, it's like I mentioned with the other pairs, it's within this zone right here. So the problem with this is even if it reaches the zone, it might reject down from there. Or even if it pushes up to this point, it could reject down from there as well. It's going up right now because the US dollar has, some temporary strength going on with it. That's kind of similar to what's going on, across the board. Looking at AU over here, it's going down. So that means that the US dollar is stronger than the Australian dollar. The same over here with EU. Since EU is coming down, that means that the US dollar is stronger than the euro. Same with GU and same with NU as well. So with UCAD over here, I think this push up is just, somewhat temporary. Or, I mean, it could keep going. It depends on how the news plays out tomorrow, because the news is so heavy tomorrow. So let's see. The first US news is going to be at 5:30 a.m., which is core retail sales. This is probably going to increase a little bit, since a lot of people are going back out, a lot of people are buying stuff. So retail sales are probably going to be up. And then we have the crude oil inventories. Same situation right here. A lot of people are out again. So oil is going to be doing well. And then the FOMC, the economic projection. So this is going to be a toss up. So these are probably going to be in favor of the US dollar, but this is going to be a toss up. Just depends on, what the Fed says. They're obviously going to say stuff that are good, but that could cause price to usually spike up and then spike back down. So in this situation, I just wouldn't be trading during these high impact news reports. So looking at UCAD over here, I'll turn on the pivots, and it looks like it's trying to swing upwards, but I don't know how long that's going to last for, especially with the US dollar so weak. So, once the news passes and if the US dollar is still super weak, we could probably see this bouncing off and heading back down. Similar to what's going on with all the other pairs. I don't know what's going on in Canada, if there's anything that's causing this to, push upwards, but it looks like all of the US dollar pairs kind of went up from the first, or yeah, September 1st. So this is the first right here. You can see the nice push up. Same situation with AU. So it started, the US dollar just started gaining in strength on the first. So the first with AU, the same with EU from the first, GU from the first. You can see how they all correlate. So if you guys don't understand how the pairs correlate, you guys can message me or message in the chat. I've been sending out the link for that correlation chart, which works for pretty much any pair, just depending on what you want to look at. Or if you want to do the basic way, you could just match all of the USD pairs and any other specific pair if you want to correlate them to see how they're moving. But yeah, just looking at UCAD right here, I think this is a temporary push up. I wouldn't take a buy until it breaks above here. Once it breaks above here, then you're good to take a buy. Then I'll take a buy right there, and I just write it up. Otherwise, I would wait for it to come back down because that's my bias. I think it has a sell bias, you know, once it corrects back down, and then I would take a sell down here. But that's all going to take some time. It's not really going to affect it right now, especially with the news. Look, so today, this might just go sideways for the whole day. And then once the news happens tomorrow at 5:30 a.m., which is probably going to be beneficial to the US dollar, you're probably going to see a nice spike up. And then you're going to see it drop. And then you're going to see it either continue to drop, or you're going to see it shoot up. And this is the way you guys should be analyzing trades. Like, no matter what strategy you guys are using, you guys should always analyze all different possible setups, because literally it could go either way. You know, the trades don't always go the way that you think. And it's good to just weigh the pros and cons, depending if you're, you know, taking a buy or if you're taking a sell. So I think that's it for the questions right now. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the YouTube chat or on the Zoom Q&As if you guys are in the Zoom. I see there's like half people in the Zoom, and then there's half people in the chat. So just depending on where you are, feel free to put your questions in either one, and I can answer them as I go along. But I think the last pair that we left off on was EJ earlier. Or actually, let's go over, looks like our EJ is about to hit TP2 right here for 25 pips. So that's looking great. I'll zoom through all these pairs because it doesn't look like there's really anything worth taking right now anyways. I've already analyzed some of these earlier, like EU, we've analyzed that. GA over here, it's consolidating. It's literally bouncing from zone to zone. So you can see right here, I'll show you an example. So price came from this point, it broke the zone, came down to this point, rejected off that zone, came up to here, rejected off that zone, came down here, rejected off that zone. So it's literally just consolidating. So it's probably going to come up, test that zone again, and then probably come back down. It just really depends on, you know, how the news plays out, because there's GBP news, I think, tonight and all day tomorrow. So depending on how that news plays out, you know, price could make a huge difference. If it's good GBP news, then, you know, expect that to go to the moon. If it's horrible GBP news, expect that to go to hell. It just really depends on, you know, how the news plays out. So this is why this is like a careful week. Everyone should be trading conservatively, because like I mentioned, you know, there's a ton of news all day tomorrow. So expect some crazy market movements tomorrow and then into Thursday morning. So, you know, if you have any active positions, all I can say is be careful. I'd probably exit them in profit before tomorrow, because once the FOMC announcements are made, like literally it's open game for everyone. But yeah, so I'll look over US 30 now, because we've already pretty much went over all of these pairs. So let me just scan through them real quick, see if there's anything worth taking. But it doesn't really look like there is. So this would be a buy signal, but we wouldn't have taken that because price is trending down. Yeah. I think all the GBP pairs are kind of they're kind of risky, because you know, this huge drop this past week, last week, when the Brexit news was bad, causes huge drops. So the problem with this is that, you know, the thing with all the GBP pairs is that they can either be correcting back upwards because of this huge drop, or they can continue to drop. So it's literally like super uncertain depending on how you want to trade it. But also with the news tomorrow, it could be really, really risky. NZDCHF, NZDJPY, NU, UCAD. Just want to make sure there's nothing here worth taking right now. And it doesn't look like it. It's about to be 5 o'clock, so we still have an hour until the next candle close. So I'll come back to that later. But right now, we'll go and look at US 30, since that's what most people are here for. So we'll look at US 30. And then, so I'll show you guys how we took the trade earlier today. You know, same strategy pretty much. Most of you guys do have the indicator, so you guys understand how it works. But I'll just show you guys from scratch for the people that are new here. So this is 6:30 right here. And I'm just going to rewind to this specific time. All right, cool. So I'll just put the requirements here for the new people. I know there's a lot of new people here, so requirements. This is going to be the K2 daily US 30 strategy. And it's super simple, guys. So first one, you're going to be look for entries after the New York Stock Exchange open, which is going to be 6:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time. And I'll just go over the trade from today and yesterday, since there's only been 2 days this week. And then after that, we'll analyze US 30 to see what's going to go on, what could be happening over the next couple hours up until tomorrow when we have the huge news announcements. So first, you're going to look for entries after the New York Stock Exchange open, which is 6:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time, which is Los Angeles time. So we got that there. The second thing is identify a valid K2 entry. And then third, enter on the open of the following candle. So, it's not rocket science, super simple. Basically, all you do is let the indicators do the work for you. So first, you want to look for entries after the New York Stock Exchange open, which is 6:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time, which is right here. So after this, you just look for the first valid K2 signal. Right here, we have a valid sell signal, since it's a red sell signal with a red bearish candle. So, opposite of that, this would be a valid buy signal. It's a buy signal with a green bullish candle. Same here, valid buy, valid sell, valid buy, valid sell. And I'm just going to look for an invalid candle so I can show you guys what's invalid. Okay, so this would be invalid right here. And this is invalid because it's a green buy signal with a red bearish candle. So it'd have to be green and green for it to be valid, or red and red to be valid as well. So once we have that out of the way, basically right here, let's see, Sedesma Moa said, which broker is best to trade NASDAQ and US 30? So me personally, I trade it mostly on FTMO, which uses LMAX as their broker. I'm not sure if they use it anymore, but for my personal, I use Hugo's Way, but I don't recommend, although I do use it, I don't recommend Hugo's Way to anyone because I just don't recommend unregulated brokers to people. I know a lot of people have been using FX Choice lately, so that's another option for you as well. But I mean, you'd have to weigh, your options, because I don't know where you're located, Sedesma. I don't know if you're located in Europe, because I think a lot of people in Europe use IC Market, so you can use them as well. It just really depends on what you're looking for and what your account size looks like. Because if I had the choice, I would recommend LMAX, but they require at least a $10,000 deposit. So if you don't have that capital, I mean, obviously you'd have to go with the smaller unregulated brokers. Camo said, what time frame? This is the 10-minute Camo. So you can see right here as a 10. And I'll put this right here. So yeah, the daily strategy is used on the 10-minute. Basically, we look for entries after the New York Stock Exchange open, which is 6:30 a.m. right here. Identify the first valid K2 signal. Right here, we have the first valid K2 signal. So after that, we can enter on the open of the following candle. I'll just put another note right here. Stop loss, TP, 1,500 pips. Pips or standard pips. So depending on which broker you're using or which broker data, this is currency.com. So they use standard pips, but if you're trading on Hugo's Way or Oanda or one of the unregulated brokers, they use micro pips. So you can see right here that if I line this up right here, this will only show 150 because they are standard pips. But if you use Oanda data, so you just type here US 30, because a lot of people get tripped up about this. You can see right here, this is the same entry, 640. So you can see from currency.com data, it was 150 pips, but looking at Oanda data over here, it's 1,500 pips. But it's the same exact thing. It just depends on how your broker values the pips. So some brokers do micro pips, some people do standard pips. So right here, Oanda, 1,500 pips. But going back to currency.com data, it's 150 pips. So basically all of our all our measurements are going to be off the micro pips because that's what most brokers use. But just for this demonstration right here, this is just so you guys don't get confused. Like it says 150, but technically it's 1500 micro pips. So right here, let that run out, and you can see right there that it hit TP. I know I sent the update a little late. Sorry guys, I was at the gym, so I wasn't able to post it, but I did post a little later right here. So we did hit full TP, and it was around the same time. So there's our markup right there on the chat, and then here's the live markup right here as well. So this was an entry we took this morning. After this, let me show you guys one from yesterday. So I'll just show you guys that this works literally every day. I mean, it's not just it's not a once in a while strategy. It's pretty much every single day. So let's go back to yesterday's, which is over here, 6:30. We'll go and replay this. Let's see. Replay it to this point right here. So same exact strategy. Look for entries after the New York Stock Exchange open at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time. This is 6:30 right here. So after this, we identify a valid K2, sorry, I put K2 entry, K2 signal. So like I mentioned before, when it's green and green, that's a valid buy. It's red and red, it's a valid sell. So right here, we got this buy signal. So first requirement, look for entries after the New York Stock Exchange open at 6:30 a.m. So right here is 6:30 a.m., right? After this, we look for the first valid K2 signal, which is right here. And then we enter on the open of the falling candle. So we enter a buy position right here. And then, like I mentioned earlier, it's either going to be 1500 micro pips or 150 standard pips. So right here, we have this all set up, and then we can let it run. And what do you know, guys? Full TP. Nothing new. Same thing every day. So that's pretty much it. Full TP right there from yesterday. And then run it into today too. That's on the 14th. And then here's the 15th. Same exact entry. Boom, there you go. Full TP, guys. So, this is what I mean about not overcomplicating your strategy, because the thing is, a lot of people like to overcomplicate things, and when you overcomplicate it, it makes you miss entries. So literally this strategy is like a simple two-step process. You wait for the market to open, you take the first signal, and you let it run. And it's as easy as that. I mean, you guys have seen the win percentage for US 30. I mean, not even looking at our FX trades. If you look at our US 30 trades, like they're super accurate. So like for this whole year, since May, when I started sharing my trades with you guys for US 30, we've had 55 wins and only 12 losses. So if you add that up, and then we have 2 more wins from this week. So technically it is 57. So right here, if you do 57 plus 12, obviously that's 69, right? So 57 divided by 69. Oh, no, sorry. No, 27. 57 divided by 69. I have a 82.6 win rate for US 30. Trading the same strategy every day for the past, so May, June, July, August, September. So about 5 months. So in the past 5 months, I've proven to you guys that this strategy works. So I don't know why people like to go and, why do you guys want to fix something that's not broken? Literally, if you guys just apply the strategy, you guys can be profitable trading US 30. And this is why it's become my favorite asset to trade, because literally you can make a ton of money trading US 30. Just looking at the numbers here, like literally if you took every trade with a standard lot, I mean, this is unrealistic because who's trading a standard lot, But if you did have a standard lot, you could have been making a ton of money right here. Was that 600,000? With a mini lot, a 0.10, you could have made like 67,000. With a micro lot, even with the smallest lot size, you could make each trade, you'd make like about $150 per trade. For this whole year, it's not even the whole year, it's only like 4 or 5 months, you would have made 6,735. And at that point, your account's just going to keep growing and growing and growing. And as you do that, you're just going to keep increasing your lot size. So as you increase your lot size, the more profits you make. So, it's a long-term game. Like, a lot of people want to be, get rich overnight. But if you just follow the rules and do things properly, you can consistently grow your account easily. And that's just US 30. I mean, if you look at Forex and you put them both together, these are our results for Forex. So if I show you the win percentage for Forex, let's see, we have 300. Brian said one trade a day keeps the bill collectors away. That's 100% true. Literally, if you just take the US 30 trade once a day, you can make a pretty decent amount. So let's see the win percentage for Forex. I know Forex isn't as accurate, but that's because we're trading so many different pairs and we're taking a ton of trades. So 397 plus 131, so that's like 528. So 397 divided by 528. So our Forex is still at 75.1% win rate. That's a pretty high win rate. If you have above 50%, then you're pretty decent. If you're using proper risk management, literally your account should be in profit by this point. It might not be like amazing, but you should still be in profit. And here's a breakdown here. If you're trading a standard lot, that's like 100K. If you're trading a mini lot, that's like 14K. A micro lot, 1.4K. Profit's profit, guys. If you guys aren't consistently profitable, find a plan to trade and stick to it. Like, don't just keep bouncing from strategy to strategy just because it's not working for that temporary time. Because that's what happens with a lot of people. They start to use one strategy, it starts losing, they switch to another strategy. It's like a never-ending cycle. Instead of just mastering that one strategy that actually works, you just keep going for the next best thing, which is you're never going to find it. Let's see. Camo said that Trump's speech made me get out of the trade. That's a major rookie mistake. Yeah, Camo. I mean, that honestly, I was gonna get out of this trade too. Once it dropped right here, I was like, man, I should get out of this trade, bro. But I told you guys in the chat, where did I put that? I said I was like not even gonna look at it. Let's see, I said something like I wasn't even gonna look at it or something. Yeah, I don't know. I think I was talking to you, Cam. I was talking to someone in here. Let me see. Bother. Yes, I was like right here. I think I was responding. I was responding to Camel and Miles. I was saying that I was not even gonna bother looking at it. So once this trade was going on, like once it hit like 10 o'clock, I was like, all right, screw this. I'm gonna go out. So I went to the gym, and then from like 10 o'clock, from like this point right here, because I was low key getting nervous because this is when he came on, Cam. I think that's when you guys posted in the chat, and then this started going into drawdown right here. So when I saw this, I was like, all right, fuck this. I got to get out of the house. So I left and went to the gym. And then thankfully, while I was at the gym, it came straight down and hit TP. I was like, because obviously, the results speak for themselves. Like, you can literally backtest the strategy as much as you want. You can go back as far as you guys want and see if it works. And then you can see for yourself, like, the numbers speak for themselves. Like, literally, if you go back and you just try this strategy for every single day, and then you add up how many wins, how many losses happen, you guys will see how powerful K2 is. Like, I don't understand why people are underestimating the strategy that makes a ton of people profit. It's literally no brainer. Like, why go find something else when you have something that works right here? But yeah, I mean, that's it for the US 30 strategy. Let's go ahead and analyze this for now. So I'm just going to analyze this to see how it's moving currently. I'll analyze it on a 30-minute chart. Turn on the K2SRs. Like I mentioned, so I'll show you guys how I analyze the chart normally. So normally I analyze it on the 4-hour chart, but indices move a little differently. They're a lot faster than Forex. So instead of looking at what did that happen? I clicked on gold. But yeah, so anyways, instead of marking up the chart on the 4-hour, I do it on the 30-minute because the indices just move way too fast. There's no point in analyzing super far out unless you're going to swing trade it. But if you're going to swing trade US 30, like, I hope you have a huge, like, trading account, because you're not gonna be able to survive like any drawdown here. Like looking at, see, like if you're trading on the, if you're swing trading this like on the 4 hour, you're gonna be hanging on to this for like a long time, and you're gonna have to eat this drawdown. This is like 18,000 pips. So I mean, swing trading, some people can do it, like if your account can handle it, but me personally, I just can't. I can't stomach that. Like I can't stomach holding a trade for a couple days and then going to drawdown like 20,000 pips, just praying that it'll come back down. Like there's like no guarantee. So if you got screwed here, like if you were like, so let me just look at this right here. So if you saw this trade over here, and then you're like, all right, cool, it's gonna keep coming down, right? So if I saw this trade and I took a sell right here, man, I would have been freaking sad, because literally I would have been in drawdown like crazy. So if I entered right there, this is like, this is 4,000 pip drawdown. This is like 10,000 pip drawdown right here. Just praying for it to come down. And I mean, some people could trade like this, and some people are actually good at doing this. But me personally, I just don't have the nerves to hang on to a trade for that long and just watching red for like an extended amount of time. Let's see. Andreas said, does it work for London Open on US 30? So yeah, Andrea, it does work on London, but this week has been a little, it's kind of been all over the place. So I'll just show you the same exact strategy for that we did for US, but let me go to midnight. So this is midnight London Open. Generally, I'm not sure if you're in the premium, Andrea, but Marcus calls this in the chat as well. So let's see. Let me see when Marcus called this, because Marcus usually calls, him and Ariane usually call the London trade. So let's see, he called it here. So he called this yesterday. Yeah, he called it at 1:51 a.m. Same exact strategy, basically. I'll just type it up again just so you guys can see. This is the K² daily US 30 entry London. Look for entries after 12 a.m. So yeah, savings time, London Open, identify valid K² signal, enter on the open. So it works exactly the same, but me personally, I haven't tested it on London enough to verify that it works as well. I mean, it does work. It just doesn't, I'm not sure if it works, perfectly. So same situation right here. Look for entries after midnight. So this is midnight right here. Identify the first valid K² signal, which would be right here. And then, yeah, so it looks like the thing with London is that I wouldn't let it run. Like usually our TP1 would be somewhere like midway right here for 750 pips. If it reaches this point, always remember to move your stop loss in profit, because something like this could happen. So the thing with London is that this had a nice move, and then once US opened right here, generally the way that US 30 moves is it'll move directional during one session, and then during the next session it usually reverses. So this is 6:30 right here, and then you can see from London to Asia session, it ends up going the complete opposite. I mean, it doesn't always happen, but this happens like pretty often. And then you can see right here where price currently is during Asia session. So you can see right here, this is probably going to consolidate sideways. And then probably during London, it'll probably shoot back up. And then do the same thing over and over again. That's just basically how it usually moves. It doesn't always move this way, but it does move pretty decently. So yeah, if you took this trade right here, I know Marcus called it right here, and then it looks like it hit TP1 at 355. So right here, he said, US 30 hit TP1 for 750 pips, and he recommends moving your stop loss to break even, so that could be risk free. So in this situation, you could have had different options of like what you wanted to do. You could have either moved your stop loss to break even, or slightly in profit, or you could have moved it to TP1. So if you moved it to TP1 over here, like what I usually recommend is, if it comes back down, you get stopped out. So you're guaranteed 750 pips in profit, which, half profit, that's like 750 bucks or 75 bucks, depending on your lot size. But you can see here that it does work. It works to some extent, but I personally wouldn't let it run. I would let the US session run, because obviously US 30 is a US asset. So, you're going to see more volatility during that time. And it's a smoother volatility move. So obviously, you can see right here, it's slightly pushed up, but Marcus was right with this call though, because this was the first buy signal, right? And it was a nice bullish move up until New York open. So the thing with me is, when I enter these daily trades, I usually like to exit before we enter the next session. Because like I mentioned, generally when it goes from session to session, it usually reverses. So the thing is right here, this is why we got out of this. Well, we got out of this trade because it hit full TP. Some people wanted to hang on to it, but here's the problem. If you hung on to it, you can see as soon as market closed right here around lunchtime, there we go. We hit TP right there, guys, for EGA. So I'm going to call that right now. But yeah, like I mentioned here, you can see that generally, once we reach lunchtime, it usually reverses. So it's just a risky hold if you take it during London, but it does work. So Andrea, if you want to go and like double check it, if you have access to the indicators, you can go ahead and check and just go back to every London session. So literally just go and rewind to, midnight every single day, and then just see if it works out. I think most of the time it does. It's not 100%. I wouldn't say it's better than the New York session, but it is very accurate. So let me just go back and analyze this. I kind of went off track for a little bit, so I'm just going to go back and analyze this currently, just so we can see where it's going to be going for the rest of the day. So here's pretty much how I start out analyzing the charts. So here's the naked chart here. There's nothing on the chart, right, guys? So first what I do is I open the K2SR version 2 indicator, and then I go and I mark my zones on the chart so that I can understand where price is likely to reject from. So there's an upper zone right there. And if the zones overlap, like I mentioned, in previous videos, I usually just connect them. So instead of having this big zone, instead of having this small zone right here, I just connect these down here. So it's a lot easier for us to look at the chart and identify, where rejection points are. All right, so once I have that, you guys can see that chart looks nice. You can see exactly where price rejects from, and it usually respects these points. It comes down, rejects, comes up, rejects. And then this is cool because once you have this, you can identify where price is going to reject from. So you can see right here, price came down, rejected off this zone, came up, slightly rejected off this zone. So it looks like it could probably come down there. And then once it reaches this zone right here, it could either shoot up or continue back down. And this is what you guys have to do every time you analyze a trade. You always have to go and analyze each different scenario, because there's a scenario here where price can come down and then correct back up, or it can come down and continue dropping. That way that you can have like a good understanding, as to your risk and how risky that trade is if you decide to take it. So once I have this, I'm going to turn on the pivots just to see where price is trending. So obviously you can see right here, when price is above the pivots and the pivots are spread out and angling upwards, it's in an uptrend. If price swings below, the pivots are angling down and spread out, it's in a downtrend. So you can see right here, price is crossing over and then it's coming down. But like I mentioned, there's a problem here because if price rejects right off, it'll just correct back to an uptrend. So it's literally establishing, you know, a higher high, a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And then if it continues up, it's just going to continue the trend upwards. However, if it breaks below, then that could confirm a shift in trend downwards. So this is one way that I analyze it. You know, first and foremost, I draw the zone so I know where rejection points are. Next, I like to use the pivots to identify the trend. And then on top of that, I'll turn on the momentum indicator just to see where momentum is moving. So right here, we got a sell signal. You know, odds are if we see a rejection off this point, we'll probably see a buy signal and they'll confirm a push up. But we won't really know until it gets to that point. And then once you analyze it on the 30-minute, you can do a top-down analysis and then go down to the lower time frames, like the 10-minute. And this will probably give you a better picture as to where it's going to be moving currently. So right here, turn on the pivots. You can see right there, price is trending down pretty nice. Turn on the momentum indicator. Yeah, see, like right here, this is a perfect pivot entry, but you can see, like I mentioned, once it reaches this lower zone, it's probably going to reject right off it. So it looks like US 30 is at some sort of crossroads right now because it could either push up or it could continue down. However, we're during Asia session right now. So during Asia session, it's just, man, it's just going to like, it's literally going to go sideways or it's like barely going to move. So that's US 30 for now. Me personally, I would just hang tight. I wouldn't trade this during Asia session. It's just too risky. I mean, unless you want to scalp and be risky, I mean, feel free. I actually like scalping during Asia session because it doesn't move so fast. And it doesn't really, you know, mess with your nerves as much as if you're trading when there's volatility like through the window. But with FOMC tomorrow, it's just going to be a risky asset to trade from now and then. All right, so let me keep going down the questions. Wayne said, can you trade indices with Owanda? So you can if you're not located in the US. US clients can't trade indices on Owanda, but I know clients from Indonesia can trade on Owanda, and I think also clients from Canada. So they don't accept US clients, but if you're located elsewhere, then you might. You'd have to go and check with Owanda, but I know for sure that they don't accept US clients. Like you can have the app and you can have the account, but when you try to open current indices, it's not going to pull up on yours. Let's see what else we got here. Wayne, can you also look at EN? So let me pull up EN real quick. Let's see, Wade said, "Amen, GBP." Oh, GJ. Oh, nice, bro. Yeah, it's dropping pretty nice. So it's like I talked about earlier. The TY pairs are dropping like crazy. Look at our EJ right here. It's about to hit full TP. We hit TP2 already. And our GJ from last week is dropping pretty nice too. It's about to hit full TP for 100 pips. So let me just give that update for EJ real quick because we did hit TP on this one. It's pretty nice. Just gonna post it up right there. Yeah, Wade said for US clients, FX choice is awesome for indices. Yeah, you guys can trade, I think, a smaller amount on FX choice. So you guys could probably check that out if you guys want to trade that. If you guys have a smaller account, like I personally don't really trade it as much on my personal, so I just use Hugo's way. But you know, if you want something that will be a lot easier to use, then you can use FX choice. Let me just post these. Profit 25. Raise a 50 pip move. I should have made a bigger move for this. That's cool. So this is going to be Euro JPY for TP2. So Ark got over here. Oh man, look at Ark. Is Ark in this chat? Dang, Ark is on it. Aaron, are you still here? Man, he's making me bet, Aaron. He's doing way better than you. Where's Aaron at? I don't think he's in here, but Ark is killing it. Look at Ark. He's making a ton of profit off US 30. He's literally following what I told him. Like, so if you guys aren't familiar with, like, you know, how I trade US 30, I usually put two positions. So I have one position that goes to full TP or full stop loss, and then I have one that I actually adjust. So with Ark right here, yeah, he's been killing it. This dude's copying exactly what I'm doing. He's taking 15 losses. I think this dude must be done with his challenge already, because he's literally hitting profits like back to back to back. Yeah, wow, that's really good. I don't know if Ark's in here, but congrats, Ark, if you are. That's impressive. And he's just taking the trades that I'm sending out. All right, so this seems wrong. It says I profited 10,000, but I got. All right, I'm not gonna put our chat on public. I'll respond to you later. But yeah, let's go back to the questions real quick. Let's see. So yeah, Wayne said to check out EN. So I'm gonna pull up EN real quick. And I'm excited for this right here. Full TP on that, and then full TP on GJ. Let's get it. Let's see. So Wayne wanted me to check out EN real quick. So I was looking at EN earlier too, and it looks like, let's see. So the thing is, it's stuck within the zone right here. So once this breaks below, then we can take a sell, because I'm anticipating that to come down and retest this zone down here. But let's see, I'm gonna zoom out. Let's turn on the pivots to see where price is trending. So obviously right here, price is trending down pretty nice. Let's see. Yeah, so price is in a downtrend right here. Looks like it came down, tested the pivots, then it dropped right here. So once we have all of these confirmations lined up, so we have the zones. Next we have the trend. So obviously price is trending down. We have the zones right here. On top of that, we could turn on the momentum indicator. So once you have the momentum indicator, you know the direction of momentum. So same situation right here. Obviously, this was a pivot entry because price came down, rejected off this point, or it retraced from this point, rejected right here, sell signal. This would be a pivot entry. So yeah, this looks like it's going to come down. The only thing that we're waiting for right here is we're waiting for price to close below the zone, because if it's still inside the zone, it hasn't confirmed a break in, confirmation that it's broken it, because what could happen here is it could reject and shoot back up like it did right here. See, price came down, attempted to break. So right here, price came down, came up, came back down, attempted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And these are 4-hour candles. So this literally tested the whole day before it shot back up. Same situation right here. It came back down, tested it right here, and then it came back up. So same situation right here. We're just waiting for this to break below. Once it breaks below, then we can go ahead and take a sell. But we got to be patient. We got to wait for that to actually confirm, because the last thing you want is to take a sell right here before it confirms, and then it shoots up and stops you out. That's kind of what happened with our AEN yesterday. So AEN yesterday, we took a small loss, and it was because of that situation. I was just being a little impatient, and I should have waited for extra confirmation, but I didn't, and then it ended up just shooting back up. And that was because there was news yesterday as well. But you just want to be extra careful when entering a new trade, especially during a heavy news week like this week, because we have heavy FOMC next week, and I mean tomorrow, and then we have, let's see if there's any Aussie news. Yeah, so it looks like there's New Zealand news at tomorrow afternoon at 3:45, and then again at 6:30. So literally all afternoon tomorrow, we probably won't be trading because of this news, and that's probably going to cause spikes in price. So you can probably see this either spike super high or spike super low. I'm not really sure. We'll just have to wait and see how price reacts to the upcoming news. But yeah, Wayne, if you're looking at EN, I would enter it if it closes below the zone, but I would have to wait for that. There's still 43 minutes left in this candle. So once those 43 minutes have passed, then you could confirm whether it's closed below, because you can see right here. So if price closes below like it did right here, then it would provide for a nice entry to push down to the bottom. So that's EN right there. Give it a few more minutes, or I mean about an hour, 43 minutes. And then if it closed below the zone, then go ahead and take that sell. The only problem is there's news coming up. Actually, there's news right now, I think. I just don't see this on the calendar. It's weird. Yeah, so it doesn't show up on my calendar, but on the TradingView calendar, it is down there. So I'd probably be careful with this because there's news right now, and then there's news again tomorrow morning. It's a little risky. All right, let's see. Tiffany said, I made the mistake and took a sell signal at midnight. Oh, man, that sucks. So look, it looks like Tiffany took the US 30 entry at midnight. Vertical line. Oh, you took the entry way too early. Like you didn't wait for it after, huh? Assuming. Oh, yeah, no, you literally got it at the bottom. So let's see. If you took that sell right there, yeah, you definitely would have gone stopped out if you took that sell, unfortunately. But yeah, this is something that a lot of people have to remember too, because I know a lot of people try to take the candle, the signal that happens on the open candle. And if you do, so this is my reasoning behind not taking this, because you can see right here, you know, it's more obvious during the New York Open. So during the New York Open, and same with London, because we still have, you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with the London breakout, you know, similar with the same breakout for US session. So basically when the market first opens, there's a lot of pre-market orders that are, you know, pending, not specifically for this because the market doesn't open until US, and that's why I mentioned that it's not very prevalent during London session. It's more obvious during New York session. So you can see right here, all these pre-market orders are coming in. It's pushing price up, and then you get a nice little push up right here. And then right after it, you get like the actual move that you want to follow. And that's why we wait for the first valid K2 signal after the market opens. So right here, it's not too obvious, but let's go to yesterday's. I think yesterday's was a little more obvious when I went over it with Brian. I think a lot of you guys were sitting in on that live as well. So let's see. Yeah, so like looking at this right here, see, this is the thing, like a lot of, if you don't have the indicators, you know, obviously this looks like it would be in a downtrend, right? So if you draw your own trend lines, obviously this is in a downtrend right here. So why would you take a buy? You know, nobody would take a buy right here. And then probably like once it reaches this point, a lot of people would just take a sell once it reaches the high because they're anticipating it to come back down, right? But you can see that on the open of the market, there's always like some sort of burst of movement like this right here. Like, you know, how would you know that that was going to happen? So that's why we don't take the first, like if there was a signal right here, we wouldn't take this entry. We would wait for the first valid K2 signal. So if we turn on the indicators, see, you wouldn't get caught in this fake out right here because you would have known that this would be the time to enter. Because the reason why we do this is that we're basically waiting for the market to open, and then we're waiting for the institutions and market makers to push price in a certain direction. So like right here, price shot up like crazy. You know, a lot of people wouldn't have taken this trade because it's a huge move up. People would have anticipated it for it, you know, for it to like correct or pull back, right? But since we're so familiar with these momentum moves, we wait for the momentum confirmation after market opens, and then we set our entry like right there, and then we take the trade. And then this is how we're able to get into these trades like at the perfect time, because we have the edge in the market where we're able to identify momentum swings. You know, same situation with over here. So this is the entry that Tiffany was talking about. She said that she took the entry on midnight. So this is the midnight entry. This is why we don't take it here, because there's all these pre-market orders that are pushing price down. But as soon as that happens, See, as soon as this happens right here, we get our buy signal. So this gives us the actual confirmation that momentum is going to be going up during this session. So we would take this trade right here, and then we would have our TP1 at the halfway mark, which would be right here. So I'll just mark this just so that you guys can have a visualization as to where you should be moving your stop loss. So like, yeah, Tiffany made the mistake by taking the wrong entry right here on the candle open. On the market open. But if you waited for the actual official candle for entry, you could have taken this right here. And then once it reaches TP1, you can move your stop loss to TP1 or to break even or somewhere in profit to eliminate your risk. Because this could happen right here. See, once we enter the US session, it ends up reversing. And that's just normally how the market moves. You can see right here from London session. See London session right here. I'll just turn off these indicators. London session right here. Price is trending down. Once we enter US session, price shoots right up. So generally, once it goes from session to session, usually it goes the opposite direction. It doesn't always happen that way, but more times than not, if you do this and you pair the K2 indicators together, this is how I back tested the strategy and how I figured out that the strategy actually works. Because what I did was I literally went through every session for the past, 2 to 8 years. I literally just went every single day back test every single day to see what worked. And once I figured out that, there's actually a pattern that occurs here. So turning on the indicators, generally you would wait for the first signal. So you wait for the first signal after the market opens, you see that huge momentum push down. Same situation right here, huge momentum push up. Same situation over here, momentum swing down, momentum swing up, momentum swing up, and then again right here. See, you can see it's super easy if you go and do the work, but me, this is what I actually like to do. That's why I go and do the work for you guys, and then we all profit. And that's the beauty in K2. It's like I go here and I put in all this work, and then I share with you guys, and then we all win. It's a win-win for all of us. But yeah, same situation right here. So you can see right here that during each session, price generally reverses. Right here, this is the London session, price shoots up. US session, price shoots down. It's really simple, guys. A lot of people like to overcomplicate it, but in reality, it's actually super simple if you're able to identify things. Yeah, this would be hard for you to identify if you didn't have the K2 indicator. So if I hide this, it's kind of hard for you to tell because you guys wouldn't know when to enter, right? But if you guys have the indicators, it's like literally giving you like a jackpot symbol. It's like, here, let's see. It's like, bro, there's a sell signal. Take a sell for like a smaller amount, like 75. Same situation with the other way, US session right here. It's like, bro, it's a buy signal. Take a buy. Full TP. The list goes on, guys. It's like super easy. If you guys want to overcomplicate it, feel free. But there's a solution here. If you guys are looking for the solution to profit, like trade US 30 profitably every single day, it's like right in front of your face. So yeah, guys, if you guys want access to it, go to the K2 website or hit me up in the DM. But everyone has access to this. It's openly available. There's no secret here, and it's the same strategy that I apply every single day. But yeah, so let's keep going through. Sedesma said, can you look at CAD JPY? I took a buy and I'm in loss. Can I hold? Oh man, you took a buy for a JPY pair? That's going to be tough, bro. Because all the JPY pairs are coming down. The JPY is strong across the board. So let's see. You said look at CAD JPY. Oh man, it's not looking good. Sedesma. I'm like curious why you took a buy for. Hey Sedesma, why did you take a buy for CAD JPY? Let's see. Let me check the trend. Because it's been trending down since the 7th. So me personally, I would never take a buy here. Or I can see why you might have taken a buy. So it looks like you might have identified this as a double bottom, right? You probably thought, so if you rewind to this point right here, you probably thought this was a double bottom and you thought it was going to shoot on up. And I'm assuming that's why you took a buy there. Me personally, I don't think it's going to come up because all the JPY pairs are dropping heavily because the JPY is strong across the board. On top of that, price is trending down. I would never trade against the trend. And on top of that, momentum's coming down as well. So you have like all of these other, like you have like so many confirmations against your trade right now. So, okay, so confirmation number one, price is trending down. So that's a red flag right there. Confirmation number two, we have a sell signal that's indicating momentum swing downwards with the trend. So there's two red flags right there. On top of that, we can pull up every single JPY pair that we're looking at. So here's CAD JPY, we'll look at AUD JPY. It's coming down as well. Euro JPY, it's coming down as well. GJ, they're all coming down. So if you correlate all the JPY pairs, it's not looking good for you if you're in a buy, because literally all the JPY pairs are coming down, indicating that the JPY is strong, like very strong right now. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but I think I would cut out of that trade, or I don't know where your stop loss is. Because look, here's the thing: if you're in this trade right here, you could it could reject off this point once it reaches this bottom. But I can't guarantee that's going to happen because anything could happen here. And if the JPY is so strong, it's probably going to break through this zone and shoot down to the next zone right here. So I'd be very careful with that trade. Me personally, I would just cut my losses. It was just a bad trade, it happens. But the key here is to survive till the next trade. Because if you lose and blow your account on this trade, you're not going to be able to recover up from that. So, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be up to you. I don't want to tell you what to do because I don't want to tell you to get rid of it and then it ends up shooting back up, because there's news coming up today and tomorrow. So we've got GBP news at 11, which is in about 6 hours. I don't know where your stop loss is. You could probably survive this move until it drops to this point. If you could survive like 20 pips, I think maybe you should probably hang on a little bit. But yeah, that's going to be your personal call. But me personally, I don't think it looks good because all of the JPY pairs are dropping down pretty heavy. Let's see. Yeah, it's looking good. Man, our EJ almost hit full TP right here. And barely missed it, a few pips. Our GJ too. I can't wait for this to hit. This has been going on. It's been going sideways for like a whole week for a full 100 pip TP right there. So it's looking good. Yeah, so that's good. All right, so let me keep going down the questions. Let's see. Hypebeast Strip is asking, is anyone FTMO funded as of yet or near funded? So there's a couple people in K2 that are funded already. I was like technically funded for like a week until I thought I failed my account, but then I ended up, it was like a technical error on their side. So what they did was they refunded me and they gave me a small profit off whatever that first month was. But then after that, they just, my account failed. So they're like, all right, just go do it again. So I'm on my new 100K account. I'm almost there. I probably have like 2,000 more I got to make. So like probably one more US 30 win and then I'll be funded again. But there are a couple other people in the group that are funded. I think Joy, I don't know if Joy's in here, but Joy is he's one of our members and he's past 200K accounts already. He's funded with 2 accounts or almost there, I assume. And then his brother's done with 1 too. So that's they technically have 3 altogether. Let's see. Yeah, so Joy said he was here. He was done with his second account. So he has 200K funded accounts just trading my US 30 trades. And then he's on his way to his 300. So he's going to merge them into one 300K account. So he's passed 2 of them. Yeah, so here's Joy. Like literally he just took my US 30 trades. Like it's so simple. I don't know why people want to overcomplicate US 30. Literally, if you just take my US 30 trades, you could pass it easily. So he passed his verification in 2 days. He took two of my US 30 trades. They both hit like full TP. So he hit that. And then, yeah, he passes verification in 2 days. You can see right there. So he has 200K. His account is merged into one full account. So he has 200K in his FTMO. And then now he's on his third one. And he's just, all he does is follow the rules. You know, he follows what I teach and what I explain, and he passes like with no stress or no nothing. He like literally, so here's Joy. He also takes the London calls. So this just goes to let's see, who asked earlier? Yeah, for Andrea. So if you want to trade this during London, you can probably message Joy because he does it too. He does London and he does everything, London and New York, and he passes pretty nice. Oh, here goes another one. So here's David right here. He just passed FTMO as well. So yeah, Hypebeast Strip. Here's another guy. He just passed his challenge. David actually had he was funded for a while, and then he just got too cocky. Like it's just, it happens to everyone, you know. People, once you get big headed and you're like, okay, this is easy. It's like if you get too confident, then it'll be so easy for you to lose the funded account. Getting funded is easy, but staying funded is probably a lot harder than getting funded, because when you're not funded, you're literally just taking trades to pass. But once you're funded, you're like, okay, cool, I'm funded, I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do, and then you end up like doing a lot worse than when you started. But yeah, so everything's looking pretty good. Let's see. Tiffany said, can you use the lower time frame momentum signals to stack the daily? Yeah, Tiffany, I actually do that. So what I do is, so this, I'll show you exactly what I do. This is like, it's like freaking magic. Let's see. Because there was when I had my challenge the last time, I kind of screwed up because I forgot I had like a day left of my challenge. So I was like, crap, I got to pass this FTMO like tomorrow. So what I did was I took the daily entry. So let me just back up to here. I'll replay it because this is the daily entry right here, right? So what I do is we already have this like marked up right here. And basically what I do is I'll go on the 1 minute, I'll turn on the pivots, and then I apply the pivot strategy. So you can see right here, this is the entry point. This would be a pivot entry here because price came down, came up, and then we got a sell signal. So this would be a pivot entry right here for like, I don't know, like 200 pips or something. And then literally I just keep doing it. Okay, so again, right, oh crap, sorry, excuse. These things don't stop moving. Yeah, so okay, so right here, I would take another short position right here. Oh yeah, let's rewind it. And then I would put, see, this stop loss is a little too tight. Like usually we put at the previous swing, but this is only like 200 pips. So I like to put around like 500 because that gives you a little more cushion for any type of pullback. It's usually like 500 is like my sweet spot. All right, so you could take that right there because keep in mind that this is the 1 minute chart. So you're going to see a lot of noise on this chart. So you could take that trade right there. You could take this trade right here. And this is just me scalping on the 1 minute, or you could do 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minutes, really up to you. But me personally, I like to scalp like crazy. So I end up doing it on the short time frame. So I'm just going to show you how many entries we could hit scalping within the entire move. And this is if you take every trade. Like you don't have to take every single trade, but I'll just show you guys, you know, what is possible. Because it's crazy. Like if you really if you really focus and do this on the 1 minute, which is what I do a lot if I need to. So if I need to pass FTMO tomorrow, I could probably do it if I just scalp my ass off and just focus. Because these are a ton of entries. So this is all within the main entry. So we'll tally all of these up, and then I'll just show you guys, you know, the power of this once we get to that point. Because a lot of people don't believe in K2, but I mean, you know, the results speak for themselves. Like you can literally, like I don't even have to show you guys. You guys can look for yourself and back test and see if it works. You know, if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But if you just look at it for yourself, I mean, you could prove it to yourself if it works or not. You know, if it doesn't work, then show me that it doesn't work, and then I'll believe you. But it's pretty obvious that it works. So this technically wouldn't fall under the original pivot strategy because it pulls so high above. But the reason why I'm taking all these sell entries right here is because we have the full entry on the 10 minute. So if I go back to the, let me just keep going forward. I'll go forward until like the end of the day, just so that, we can look and I can just show you guys, you know, my reasoning behind trading this way. Right, so this is the end of the day, or actually it's not the end of the day yet. Yeah, there's a lot of entries here. I mean, I could have done this if I had the nerve to wait and just trade this the whole day. But, you know, when Trump started speaking, I was like, I'm out. I had to get away from the computer because it was just, I didn't want to stress myself out, honestly. But yeah, so this is the end of the day. This is noon right here. So this is when we were going to be entering the swap spread. So let me just go back to the 10 minute right here. So Tiffany, so this is the full entry, right? So this is the entry from, I'll just map it right here. This is the entry for the daily, which is 150 pips, right? Or 1500 pips. So this is a full move right here. So if you took this trade, like, so that's what Joy did. So Joy over here, he had, he runs one full trade and then he runs smaller trades within. But check this out. So this is one full move for 1500 pips, right? And then, like I mentioned, you could go on the 1 minute. I'll just delete that. Go to the 1 minute. And then you have all these scalp entries right here. So let's count these scalp entries right here. So if you took the main move and you took all these scalp entries right here, these are all winners, right? Because I don't see any losers here. So this is full TP. This right here hits full TP way down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, if they don't hit stop loss, then I'm going to move the stop loss down. And if they hit stop loss, we'll count that as a loss. But there's no lot that I haven't seen a loss here yet. So these are all literally wins. There's just, I don't see any stop loss there. Nothing there. Hold on, let me see this real quick. Okay, so this might hit stop loss. This one did hit stop loss. So this is one loss. I'll be transparent with you guys 100%, so that we can see there's another stop loss right here. This happens. If you're scalping, you're going to hit stop losses, but you're going to, you know, it's going to balance out. So this right here, let's see. Full TP, because it's impossible. Like a lot of people think you could trade 100%. It's not possible, guys. Like no matter how hard you try, how good your strategy is, sometimes you just have to eat these losses. But right here, full TP, full TP, full TP, full TP, and then full TP right here. All right, cool. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 wins and 2 losses. So if we do that, 14 wins minus 2 losses, that's 12 wins, right? Each setup right here is 500 pips. You can see it's 50, which is equal to 500 micro pips. So if you multiply that times 500, you would have had 6,000 pips. So you'd have 6,000 pips plus the 1,500 pips from the full move. So if you took all of those trades plus the full move, you would have made 7,500 pips. And if you're trading what is it, like a 0.10, that'd be $7,500 in profit. Or if you're trading the smallest lot size, which is a 0.01, then that would be $750 in profit. This is a nice profit. You just grind all day and scalp this out. You can make pretty decent profit off that. Let's see. So I'm going to keep going down the questions. All right. Portia said, "Can you look at S&P, Shawn? Is it a valid signal?" Sorry, Portia. I literally just saw your message right now. I would have taken a break if I saw that you asked that earlier. So let me go to a 10-minute chart. All right, cool, Portia. So yes, this would be a valid buy signal right here for S&P. But the only problem here is that price is trending down. So it's a little risky to take because you're going to be trading against the trend. Let's see. I'm going to see if there's any zones that are nearby, just so that you can see where points of rejection are. Let's hide all this stuff on here. Let's see, drop that right there. All right, and down here. All right, cool. So I have all these zones lined up right here. And just looking at the chart, you can see they're nice rejection points. You see exactly where price is going to reject from. So let's go back on the 10-minute. And then we did get a buy signal right here. So we did get a buy signal right here. If this candle closes right here, Portia, like I said, it's kind of risky because price is trending down technically. So I personally wouldn't take a buy right here, even though if it does, so if this closes, there's a possibility that could push up to this next zone right here. But this is just too risky because there's so many confirmations against it. So the first confirmation is that it's currently inside a zone right now. So until it breaks outside, I wouldn't take this trade. The second confirmation telling me not to take this trade is that price is trending down because price is below the pivots are angling downwards and they're spread out. So that's like red flag number 2. I wouldn't take that because it's too risky. Like you're literally gambling at this point if you're trading when there's so many red flags. And then lastly, it just doesn't show any full confirmation. Like there's nothing else that gives me an indication that it's going to break this trend. Until I have like some sort of extra confirmation, then I would take it. Because see, if we saw some sort of rejection, well, I mean, there was a small rejection right here, if you want to count this. So although this isn't here, let me turn on the zones to see if there's an established zone right there. Because if there is, then this might give, okay, so it did reject off this point right here, this K2SR zone. So this kind of weighs it in the other direction. So we have all of these confirmations saying that we shouldn't take this trade because, okay, so for one, price is within this zone right here. For two, price is trending down. So I wouldn't want to take a buy. The only thing that's in favor of it is that price came down, it rejected off this zone. So it established some sort of, support right here. And then it shot up. So it's kind of a 50-50 trade right here. Like literally you could possibly cash this up. So from right here to there, let's see. Yeah, it's about 50 pips, a 50 pip move. Technically, you could probably, if you want to take a risk, you could probably cash that to the next zone. Because you can see right here, when price rejects off this point, we get a buy signal and it pushes to the next zone. Same right here, it rejects off this point, get a sell signal, it pushes to this zone. Right here, we got a rejection off this point, buy signal. Odds are it might push up to this zone. But in order to take this trade, I would wait for this to close outside this zone, confirming that, it's broken that zone and it's making its way to the next zone above. So if you do want to take the risk, you can take this trade, but I'm just going to say it's going to be risky because me personally, I'm a trend continuation trader and I trade off momentum. So although there's momentum here, this could just be a retracement or a pullback because it's going against the trend. So the last thing you want to do is get into this trade and then say like the next candle, you get a sell signal, then you're screwed because it's going to come down just like it did right here. But it's really up to you. It's going to be personal preference. Unless you have a different analysis for the trade, me personally, I wouldn't take it because it doesn't fall under any of my criteria for entering a trade, with regard to trend continuation and momentum. Okay, so let me keep going down. Hassan said, Shawn, so all I got to do is pass a few 100K challenges, then message FTMO to merge them. Yeah, Hassan. So you just message them and tell them that you want to merge your two accounts, even if you have a smaller account. So say you have a $100,000 account and you have a $50,000 account, right? And you're like, I don't want to trade two accounts. It's just too hard to trade multiple accounts at once. So you just tell them to merge it, and then they'll give you a new, the 10% and 5% for your daily max loss and for your max monthly loss. So that's all you got to do. You just have to go and message them for that. Tiffany said, do you know if he gets regular withdrawals? Yeah, so he does. It's at the end of the month. So say if you started trading your funded account today on the 15th, then the next month on October 15th, that's when you would get your withdrawal for the previous month. However, you don't have to take the withdrawal. Like what you can do is you can leave your money in the account and then you can just keep growing that so that you have more cushion for you to take losses. There's like there isn't really a requirement that you take a withdrawal every month. The smart way to do it is to leave some money in the account each time so that every time you, like say you have a bad month, you're going to be able to take a ton of losses and it'll be fine because you have, excess capital laying around for the next month. However, if you go and withdraw all your money each month, then you're just going to go back to ground zero. So like if you do that, then you're going to be risking losing your account if you pass, the daily or max loss. So, it's a give or take depending, if you don't need the money, then I would just leave it in there and keep some cushion there for in case there's a bad week, bad month. And then just keep going along with it because, obviously if you don't need the money, then there's real no reason because the last thing you want to do is pass FTMO, get a funded account, and then have to redo it again because you failed due to some sort of technicality, which happens with a lot of people. A lot of people forget about their accounts and they leave trades running over the weekend and then they lose the account. Because once you're funded, you can't hold trades over the weekend. That's what a lot of people don't understand. And that's why it's kind of hard for you to trade FTMO if you're swing trading, because it's impossible. You can't hold a trade over a weekend. If you hold a trade over the weekend, they're just going to close your account and then you're going to be confused. So that's like one thing that I recommend you don't do if you're doing FTMO. Like swing trading probably won't work with FTMO because you can't hold trades over the weekend. And, you don't want to close out a trade with a loss and then you end up coming back the week after and it's in profit. And you're like, crap, I had to close that trade in a loss, but it could have been in profit. But okay, so let me keep going down. Let's see. So Wayne said, would you recommend stacking positions simply off rejections off the pivots going in the desired direction? Wayne, you could do that. It's a risky way of trading, but I'm not gonna lie, I've done that before. I do that a lot actually. So say right here on S&P, say we have a nice uptrend right here, right? Basically, whenever price comes down, I'll just buy and I'll scalp it up and I'll take profit. Comes down, buy, take profit. Every time it touches it, I just keep taking profit every single time. It'll be small profit, like a couple $100, 50 to $100 each time, but that adds up over time. And that's how I got, let me see, I sent this to you guys. This is how I profited that one time when I passed. Okay, so this is my account, and this is what I was talking about earlier. So I had to pass FTMO. I had one day, and I was like, fuck, because I wasn't paying attention. I didn't realize my challenge was due the next day. So what I did was I literally just scalped the entire day. And look at my lot sizes, guys. Like, don't do this, but I literally had one day to pass FTMO. So I was like, crap, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna max out. So I literally just went ham. I literally took every pivot entry, and every time it came down and tested the pivots, I just like took a buy every single time, and I just kept stacking, stacking, stacking. So you can see right here, I started at 1,000. Literally started at 1,000, and then each time went up to 7,000. 8,000, a little more, a couple hundred right there, a couple more hundred right there. I literally was like updating you guys every time that I made a profit. And it's super possible. I mean, you could do it, but it's also very risky. So Wayne, I know you're probably getting ideas right now, but I don't recommend you do it unless you really know what you're doing, because once your emotions get involved, you're not going to be able to get out of that trade and you could blow your account. So you can see right here, I went from 1,000 to 12,000 in less than 24 hours, just scalping. So like the thing with this is like, so here's a problem. So say you took a buy right here, right? And then it goes into drawdown. Your emotions are going to get involved and you're not going to want to close out your trade. And this could literally go very far south at some point. So it's just too risky. Hassan said, show mine. I did mine in 3-4 hours. Was that from today, Hassan? Let me see if I can look it up. I don't know where did you post it in the premium chat or in the trade talk? Let's see. Oh, whoops. Let me find where Hassan's stuff was. I know it was recent. I just can't remember when and where. Is it this one? Look at Hassan. This dude passed in 3 days. Literally, look at his chart right here. It's like straight up, straight to passing. This dude passed so quick. I think that was it, right, Hassan? Or did you send it to me personally? Let me see. Let me look at my messages. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know if I could find it, bro. But I know you passed it really quick. I don't see it on the on my personal messages, but I know you passed it super quick too. And that just shows, the power of K2. If you're able to, like, literally, if you took all these trades right here, like you just took these buys, you could have made a ton of profit just riding this up the wave. As long as you learn the strategies and you learn how to analyze them properly, you could literally make a ton of profit just trading this one strategy, the pivot strategy, which is awesome. Hassan said, it was when I hit, oh, I remember that one. Yeah, that one was crazy. This dude was taking like 100 lot size, 200 lot size. It was crazy. I think that was the account that you just, you ended up losing, right? So you're like, screw it, you might as well just go ham on it. All right, let me keep going down the questions. Let's see. Well, Laquise said, I just got here. Is this a 630 US 30 method? So I'll just go over that again real quick because I know a lot of people are here for that specific strategy. Sorry if you guys are tired of seeing it already, but I'll show you guys real quick. So US 30 right here. So basically, this is how the strategy works. We go on the 10-minute. We go to 6:30. And I'll just break it down for you. So here, I'll just put it here real quick again. Just this is the K2 daily US 30 strategy. For first, you're going to look for entries after the New York Stock Exchange open, which is 6:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time. Next, you're going to identify a valid K2 signal. And then third, you're going to enter on the open of the following candle. And then TP stop loss is 1,500 micro pips. Or 150 standard pips. So generally, you're going to be on micro pips because that's just how like most unregulated brokers work. But I'm just going to replay here and Valaquis. So first, you're going to look for entries after the New York Stock Exchange, which is 6:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time. It's 6:30 right here, right? So next, you're going to identify a valid K2 signal. This is a valid signal because it's a red signal with a red bearish candle. So once you have those two lined up, you enter on the open of the falling candle. You set your stop loss and TP at 1,500 micro pips, which is right there. And then that's about it. You know, it's a 1-2 step process. 1, you wait for market open. 2, valid signal, and then you enter and let it run. And sorry, my computer's starting to run slow right now, but there you go. So it ended up hitting full TP. And then I'll just do it again for yesterday's, just, you know, for you to see that it works both ways and it works every day pretty much. So same strategy. Look for entries after the New York Stock Exchange open, 6:30 a.m. This is 6:30. First valid signal. It's a buy signal because it's a valid buy signal because it's a buy signal with a green bullish candle. So you enter on the open of the following candle. Stop loss TP is going to be 1,500 pips. And then you let it run. There you go. Same thing. Full TP again right there. So you can see right there, it works both ways, literally. And then you follow it through again. So you won yesterday on the 14th, and then you let it run again on the 15th, and there you go for a double whammy. 3,000 pips right there, 2 days, easy, one trade each day. You know, I don't know how much easier I can make it for you guys. Literally everything's done for you. You just gotta enter the trade. And if you don't want to apply the strategy, you can just copy my trade. It's the same thing. But obviously, you know, it's better for you to actually do it yourself because then you don't have to depend on me. So say I wake up late and I don't post the trade, which has happened pretty much the past couple of weeks. Sorry, guys. I've just been sleeping a lot later. So I've been taking the London entries and I've been waking up too late to call the entry right on time. I literally wake up right when the entry occurs and then I give you guys a signal and it's a little late. But if you guys have access to the indicator, you guys can just do it yourself. Sorry, Porch, I just saw your message again. So let me go back to S&P. I was looking at the previous sell, one sell. Yeah, Portia, if you saw this sell right here, this is actually, I mean, honestly, it goes both ways because this right here is a valid pivot entry because price comes down, retracement, rejection, sell signal. This would be a valid pivot entry, but then it looks like it would have hit TP because the swing is right here for about, I think it's 50 pips. So if you took that entry right there, you would have hit TP already. So technically what you'd be waiting for right here is another sell signal like right here so that you can catch that next wave down. And that's the whole gist of the strategy. You know, like we're not here to hold this trade for like days on end. We literally want to just enter when we have an edge. And then once our edge is gone, we exit. We exit TP and then we wait for the next entry. Same situation right here. Like, like you guys could buy and hold if you wanted to. Like if you wanted to buy and hold this all the way until full TP, you could have. But what if you get caught up here and then it comes down and you end up losing? That's why we highly recommend that you just trade when you have an edge. So right here, we have an edge, right? We hit full TP, 130 pips. Again, right here. So right here, we probably would have exited. So this is half TP right here. We probably would have moved our stop loss once it reaches to this point, because this is like pretty deep in profit already. So at that point, we probably would have, this is like scalping. So it probably would have been 50 pips. So right there, we probably would have hit TP. So instead of going for that full move, which I mean, you could, there's nothing wrong with it, for like 173 pips, you could have got 130 pip here and then 50 pip here. So that would total 180 pips profit if you just took 2 trades instead of 1 big risky trade. But yeah, so right here, it looks like a sell's actually forming, Portia. So if you get that sell signal, I mean, I would take it and then write it down. Looks good. So John Ryan said, so 150 pip usually works. Yeah, for the daily US 30 strategy, it's based off my back test. How are you determining TP? So depending on what strategy you're applying, I'm not sure which one you're using, John. If you're using the pivot strategy, then your stop loss is going to be at the swing, which should be somewhere around here for 130 pips or something like that. So that's if you're using the pivot strategy. But if you're using the daily strategy, the stop loss in TP is always going to be 150 pips or 1500 micro pips. And the reason for that is that I back tested the same strategy 2 years back. So I literally went every single day and I marked up every day at 6:30. So I went to 6:30 and I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to take this trade right here. And I did my calculations, and 150 pips is the sweet spot. That's generally where price is almost always going to move during the New York session. So the thing with the strategy is it's like I mentioned earlier, you want to get out once your edge is gone. So, once you hit TP here, you want to get out, because why would you hold on to this for like another 5-10 hours for it just to consolidate? Like literally right here too, same situation. We got out at 150 pips. You could have held on, but then it retraced back. So if you held on to this trade, you're going to be hanging on to this for a couple hours in consolidation. This is meant to just be taken once a day, like a daily trade. And I've gone back and I back tested this like literally 2 years back. So I literally went, okay, 6:30, take the trade. How much does it move from open? See, if you move down here, it moves up to like maybe 2,000 pips, max 2,000 pips. Again, right here, I'll measure it to see how much does it move. A max 1,500 pips. And 1,500 pips or 150 standard pips is generally the sweet spot. And that's pretty much what I did. So I literally go back, see 6:30 right here. I go back to the next day, 6:30 the previous day. I literally went back, how many days are in here? 365 days. So I went back like maybe 600 days to make sure that I understand how much it moves. So like right here again, market open right here. Look at the sweet spot. It's about 200 pips, 200 pips both ways. So if you had 150 pips, that would be like, you'd be able to get in and out of the trade within that day, because we're not trying to hold on to these trades for like multiple days. We're literally trying to get in and out with profit. So this is a crazy drop right here. So I'm not even gonna, this is an outlier. This doesn't normally happen. This is when the market dropped a little bit. But literally I went down every single day. Like I did all the hard work for you guys so that you guys can benefit off this strategy with me. And it's fine because this is what I enjoy doing. I like trading. I like sharing my ideas with you guys. So literally, if I profit, you guys profit. And that's the whole gist of it. So like pretty much right here, I literally just went back every single day. And that's how I figured out that magical number of 150. But obviously, we're in a different time. So this is COVID. So if you go back farther in data, what I did was I took the average of the price movement within all those days, which ended up being around 150. But obviously price is going to move way differently here during COVID than it does like way back before COVID. So it's kind of hard to give my analysis if we're using such a small sample here, because even if I went all the way back, you can see the sample only covers like so much time. But if you go into like the previous year where there wasn't all this crazy volatility, because there's a lot of different factors that factor in this year. You know, it's election year, there's COVID, there's the money's getting pumped into the market, stimulus, all that stuff. So you'll see a lot more movement and a lot more volatility during this year versus last year. Let's see. Andrea said, so on the regular pairs, is it the same? Do you only use market open? No, so Andrea, I only use this on US 30. I mean, you can go and back test it yourself on different pairs, but me personally, I only trade US 30. So I can only recommend applying this for this specific asset. I wouldn't use this strategy for Forex because Forex moves different. You can see for US 30, it moves directional. Like literally every session, it moves directional. Like in one way or another, it just moves, you know, in a specific direction. For Forex, it's a totally different story because Forex is a different type of asset. You know, stocks and indexes, they're directional assets. For Forex, it's literally a range. Like you could be holding on to a pair and it could not move for an entire session or an entire day, maybe an entire week. And I know that because I know a lot of you members here who were with us last month, we had that odd CHF trade. We were holding that for like over a month and it literally moved like 10 pips. So you know, every asset moves differently. I wouldn't use this strategy for Forex. It works more so with directional assets like indices, stocks, futures. You know, it really depends on what you're trying to trade, but we have different strategies. So if you're familiar with, you know, all of the other strategies that we have, let me see if I can pull this up over here. Oh, I've got it over here. Sorry, let me pull this over. I don't think I have the strategy up here. So I'm just pulling up the course, guys, so you guys can see, you know, the other strategies that we have. I'm not sure if you have access to the course, Andrea, but if you do, you know, I'm just gonna go over where. Yeah, so Andrea, if you are on our course, you can see here that we have a ton of different strategies. Like we have the intraday strategy. These are all catered towards, I mean, they work on all assets, but they were based off Forex. So if you want to trade Forex, we have the intraday strategy, the momentum strategy, scalping strategies, you know, support resistance strategies, the pivot strategy, which I went over earlier. And then the strategy we've been talking about, the daily US 30 strategy, is available right here as well. So, you know, depending on what you're trading, you shouldn't use, for these strategies, you can use these on all assets, but this one specifically is for US 30. So I wouldn't use this on other assets. You can go ahead and try it and back test it yourself, but I haven't done it myself, so I can't give you the recommendation to use them on any other assets because I know it works on US 30, but that doesn't mean that it necessarily works on all other assets since everything moves a little differently. And then we have another question from Deswell. Here, Deswell, let me see if I could. Deswell, you can go on our website. So if you go on our website over here at K² Trades, since you're new here, I'll just put the website in the chat. Yeah, since you're new here, basically you can sign up to K² for free because we have we have a free community. If you guys want to just join and not pay for anything, you can do that. And you'll have access to our Telegram groups and you'll have access to the course here with, you know, all of these videos here if you want to go ahead and watch that. But if you want to have access to the indicators, then you can just sign up to the strategy. So if you want to sign up to the strategy, we still have the trial going on. So if you guys are brand new, you know, just go to our website, k2trades.com. If you want free access to the free course and the free community, just click here. It's completely free. You don't have to pay for anything. But if you want access to the indicators so that you can trade, you know, the strategy and you guys can profit with us, you just go here and scroll down to the bottom. So this is the top, and you just slowly scroll down to the bottom. And then we have the trial going on right here. So for 50 bucks for 1 month, you have access to all of the K2 indicators, all of the K2 video courses, and then access to our premium group too. So in our premium group, that's where I share all of my trades. So you can see right here, I share all my trades real time. So when I take a trade, I share it here, like this US 30 trade that from today, the daily US 30 entry. I give the chart, I give the parameters right here, and then you can enter the trade. So whoever entered this trade took it right here, TP1 right here for 750 pips, and then full TP again right here for, what was it, 1500 pips. So like literally, if you took these trades, if you just took one trade today, let's see who passed it today. Literally, I mean, a lot of people made a ton of money today just taking that trade. But if you guys took that trade today, who was it? It was Robin. So Robin just signed back up. He was with K2 before. He took a break and he came back. So his first day back, he made 1,155 bucks. So literally, if you put 50 bucks into this, this is how much profit he made back. So he's able to cover like a whole year of subscription now after just his first day back. And, you know, I mean, I don't know what else to tell anyone. If that doesn't speak to you, then I don't know what will. But, you know, what's 50 bucks? Like, just don't eat lunch for like a whole week, or don't splurge on stuff for a whole week, and you'll have money to make more money. It's as easy as that. And then if you have access to that, you'll have access to all the indicators, the entire course, which is, you know, it's pretty in depth. We have everything here. And if you guys want to see all of our results, you just click here. This is July results. And then literally everything is broken down here. So if you're on the website, you just go on the results here, and then we have all the results for July. So week 1 to 5 for indices and Forex. And then if you want to go and, you know, fact check all my trades, we do lose. Like a lot of people say we don't lose, but we do lose sometimes, but we minimize our losses every time. So like, you know, the first week of June or the last week of June, we had a bad week. It was like -8, -62, you know, +57. And this was probably like our worst week in a long time. But then following that, look how much profit we've made. Like everything's been documented. So if you guys want to go back and look at every trade I've taken, you know, feel free. It's all there, and it's all, you know, I'm fully transparent here at K2. So if you guys have any questions, you know, I'll answer anything. Or if you guys have anything specific with regard to the strategies, I can help with that too. But yeah, so I think that's about it, guys. I don't know if there's any other questions. It's about 6 o'clock, so we've been on this webinar for, you know, a little over 2 hours. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat right now. Otherwise, I will be available in the Telegram chat in about an hour. So I'm gonna go grab dinner and I'll be back. And then once I'm back, I can answer more questions. Or if you guys want to hop on live again, you know, I'm here and I'm available. So I want to make sure everyone in K2 is profitable. But yeah, guys, so thanks for showing up. Doesn't look like there's any more questions. And Deswell, yeah, no problem. It looks like you just came across K2. So, you know, feel free to join the community. It's completely free. And then just connect with the team, you know, because right here, if you have access to the free groups, I still send trades here in the free alerts chat. And then also in the free chat right here, you know, we have like 1,800 members. So you go ahead and connect with everyone here and share your trade ideas. And then on top of that, we have other groups as well. Yeah, guys. So thanks for showing up, guys. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to hit me up. But yeah, I'm gonna go grab dinner and then I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, catch you guys in a bit.